A Utah mother of 6 who became famous on YouTube for her tough love parenting advice has now been formally charged with felony child abuse.
Ruby Franke gained prominence in the mid-2010s as a momfluencer, a mother and vlogger who ran a YouTube family channel called 8 Passengers. Together with her husband, Kevin, she launched the channel in 2015 to document the day-to-day life of their family with 6 children. The vlogs showcased family activities, parenting strategies, and homeschooling, quickly attracting a massive audience. The channel surpassed 2 million subscribers. Ruby presented herself on video as a devoted mother and charismatic personality, making her one of the leading figures in family vlogging. Despite her popular image as a loving mother, Ruby's strict parenting approach gradually drew criticism. Viewers noticed several unsettling moments in 8 Passengers' videos.
I'm only going to say it one more time, and then you're going to lose the privilege to eat dinner.
In one vlog, she openly stated she refused to bring lunch to her 6-year-old daughter Eve at school when she forgot it, wanting her to experience the natural consequence. Another time, she threatened to destroy her children's favorite toys unless they earned them back through chores or personal saving. The biggest stir arose when her then 15-year-old son, Chad, revealed he had been made to sleep on a beanbag for 7 months as a punishment. These clips disturbed part of the audience, leading to an online petition asking authorities to investigate the Franke family. In 2020, Child Protective Services looked into the case, but ultimately found no immediate evidence of abuse and closed the investigation. Even with these warning signs, Ruby did not change her methods.
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
It was not funny.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom. And Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom. But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room.
Leaving many fans and critics deeply concerned for the children's well-being. Family vlogging soared in popularity on YouTube over the past decade. While viewers enjoy following relatable family stories, this trend has triggered ethical dilemmas. Ruby Franke's situation ignited debates around sharenting, sharing children's lives online without their full consent.
The only downside to giving your kids a flip phone is I swear I have to remember how to work it every time I go through it.
Critics point out that children of family vloggers typically have no choice about appearing in public content, resulting in a loss of privacy and added pressure to perform on camera. Psychologists warn that intense public exposure at a young age can negatively affect a child's development and sense of identity. In the US and elsewhere, there have been increasing calls for legal protections for children featured in online videos. Illinois recently became a trailblazer by passing a law that requires parents vloggers to set aside a portion of earnings for minors who appear in the videos and allows those minors, once they reach adulthood, to request deletion of old videos. Even in Utah, where the Frankes lived, there has been discussion of legislation to safeguard child influencers, mirroring existing regulations for child actors. The Ruby Franke case underscores the broader question: where is the line between sharing family life and exploiting children for content?
You have something in the bag that you would like out. You can pay cash for it, so you learn the value of your items. Or you can give what? Dad, I'll let you take the conversation from here.
You can do an equivalent value chore to get it back.
What's it?
And whatever isn't claimed by the end of the day goes in the garbage.
Ruby's controversial parenting methods only grew more severe over time. In 2022, she ended the 8 Passengers channel and separated from her husband, Kevin. Around that period, she began working closely with Jody Hildebrandt, a life coach and founder of Connections, offering courses on parenting and relationships. Hildebrandt, initially a licensed therapist, advocated extreme views emphasizing strict morality and, according to former clients, incorporated elements of religious shaming. Ruby started appearing in videos with Jody and was even listed on the Connexion's site as a certified mental fitness trainer, though she claimed she was never formally employed. Over time, Ruby adopted Hildebrandt's worldview. She later admitted that Jody exerted enormous influence on her thinking, leading her to see wrongdoing everywhere and to believe her children needed severe punishments. Under this rigid mindset, Ruby's approach to parenting escalated. Relatives and acquaintances later reported she cut the family off from the outside world, convinced that strict discipline was the only way to correct her children. Concerns about the children reached a crisis point in late August 2023. On August 30th, Ruby Franke's 12-year-old son managed to flee Jody Hildebrandt's home in Ivins, Utah. The starving, frightened child escaped through a window and ran to a neighbor, requesting food and water. The neighbor noticed clear indications that the boy may have been physically restrained and that he appeared severely undernourished and neglected. Alarmed, the neighbor immediately called the police, reporting a serious problem next door.
But a disturbing reality was revealed after Ruby's youngest son escaped in August of 2023. This chilling 911 call leading to her arrest.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his leg.
Responding officers found Ruby's 10-year-old daughter nearby, also showing signs of malnourishment and mistreatment. Both children were rushed to the hospital and placed in protective custody. That same day, the police arrested Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt at Jody's home, launching a formal investigation into alleged severe abuse. Police findings after the arrests were shocking. Investigators uncovered evidence that Ruby and Jody had for a long time subjected two of the youngest children to cruel treatment, systematically denying them food, isolating them, and using physical punishment under the claim that the kids were malevolent or possessed by evil. Prosecutor Eric Clark described the conditions the children endured as extremely cruel, highlighting the severity of the case. Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt were initially charged with 6 counts of felony child abuse, likely 1 count per documented incident. 4 of the Franke children, ages 10 to 17, were placed in state custody, while the oldest daughter, Sherry, 20, was already living away from home. The trial drew national attention. Both women initially denied guilt, but later struck plea agreements. In December 2023, Ruby and Jody admitted guilt to 4 counts of child abuse in exchange for dropping the remaining 2 counts. Ruby agreed to testify against Jody, presumably to emphasize Hildebrandt's influence over her. By pleading guilty, they avoided a lengthy trial and spared the older children from having to personally testify about the abuse. Following the guilty pleas, the sentencing hearing in February 2024 was tense and emotional. The court in St. George, Utah, sentenced both Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt to 4 consecutive prison terms of 1 to 15 years each, 1 for each charge to which they pled guilty. Judge John J. Walton mandated that these terms run consecutively, theoretically adding up to 60 years. However, a Utah statute caps the maximum total prison time at 30 years. Practically, Ruby Franke could spend up to 3 decades in prison. Subject to the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole's determination, she must serve at least the 4-year minimum stipulated by the sentencing guidelines. Appearing in court, Ruby tearfully apologized to her children for the suffering she had caused, describing them as innocent souls. She claimed her outlook on parenting had been distorted by Jody Hildebrandt, whom she described as a manipulative figure who twisted her maternal instincts. Ruby went so far as to thank the first responders, police, medical staff, and social workers, calling them angels who had saved her children from her own actions at a time when she was under a harmful influence. The court acknowledged her apology and cooperation, but stressed the gravity of the offenses. Jody Hildebrandt, in contrast, did not directly apologize, claiming she loved the children but placing some blame on them for their own plight. For the first time since her arrest, both her estranged husband, Kevin Franke, and their eldest son, Chad Franke, have broken their silence, sharing their perspectives on this shocking case. Kevin Franke, who had been separated from Ruby for over a year prior to her 2023 arrest, recently opened up about his feelings and the impact of the events on their family. In an interview, he expressed his continued love for Ruby despite the circumstances.
What became surprising to me was when the focus gradually shifted away from just solely on our children to us as a couple. She took control of something that was very, very important to me. My marriage, my family, and she used those like a carrot on a stick.
He also revealed that they are in the process of finalizing their divorce, and that he is focused on doing what's best for his children and himself, which does not include Ruby. Chad Franke, their eldest son, has also come forward to share his experiences and insights.
Looking back, I treated her as a god, and I trusted her so much.
In the Hulu docuseries Devil in the Family: The Fall of Ruby Franke, Chad discusses the abuse he endured, including severe physical punishments. He recalls instances where his mother would spank, whip, take the belt out, and whip my butt. and that his sister had to help him clean his blood off the walls on one occasion. Chad also defended his father on social media, expressing hope that viewers would understand that his father was manipulated and only wanted to reunite the Amut family. The arrest and conviction of Ruby Franke prompted widespread public response. The case dominated social media and mainstream news, as many found it unthinkable that a famous YouTube mother could commit such offenses. However, a portion of longtime viewers were not entirely shocked, pointing out that the warning signs were there for years, citing documented instances in her videos. On platforms like TikTok and Reddit, older clips were reposted with commentary noting how seemingly minor punishments now took on a disturbing significance. Soon after the arrest, the Franke's oldest daughter, Sherry, who had already distanced herself from the family, posted "finally" on Instagram, signaling relief at her mother's detention. She later stated that she and other relatives had known about the siblings' mistreatment and had long awaited intervention. Ruby's sisters Ellie and Julie, who also severed ties with her back in 2020 due to concerns, issued a statement saying they had done everything to keep the kids safe behind the scenes, and that Ruby's arrest had to happen. They offered reassurance that the kids are now safe, supporting the police action. Major media outlets extensively covered the story under headlines describing the downfall of a famous vlogger and examining broader implications. ABC's 2020 ran a special, Ruby Franke, From Momfluencer to Felon, recounting her journey from cheerful family videos to a prison cell. Commentators referenced past scandals involving other family vloggers, such as Daddy05 in 2017 and the Micah Stauffer controversy, to show that Ruby Franke's story was not an isolated incident. She thus became a stark example of the darker side of influencer culture. Behind seemingly perfect social media posts, real suffering may lurk. Yet her case also sparked broader public conversation about safeguarding children online. The Franke family understandably suffered devastating repercussions. Ruby's children are now in the custody of relatives or the state, coping with the trauma. Their father, Kevin, who had not been living with Ruby since 2022, stated he was unaware of the extent of the mistreatment and is now focused on helping the children heal. The oldest daughter, Sherry, 21, has become an outspoken critic of family vlogging. She publicly claims she sees no ethical way to do family vlogging and testified before Utah lawmakers in October 2024, delivering an emotional account of how constant filming affected her childhood. "Vlogging robbed me of my innocence long before my mom committed a crime," she said. Sherry described the pressure of feeling like an employee in her own home and losing privacy and friendships. In 2025, she published a memoir titled The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, detailing the emotional and physical mistreatment she says occurred even before Ruby's association with Hildebrandt. Her actions reveal the deep wounds family vlogging can leave. The YouTube family vlogging community has since faced increased scrutiny. Many creators are reevaluating how they feature their children and whether they might be crossing boundaries of comfort. Viewers and advertisers have grown more cautious about potential exploitation of minors. Some brands distancing themselves from family channels until they prove they uphold ethical standards. YouTube itself faces pressure to tighten policies around content featuring children, although some regulations, like disabling comments on videos with minors, already exist. The Ruby Franke scandal also empowered others with similar experiences to speak out. Now, grown children of various influencers are sharing that living on camera caused lasting harm. As a result, the public's perception of family vlogging continues to shift. Once seen as harmless entertainment, it is increasingly recognized as work performed by minors that requires appropriate guidelines and respect for their rights. Ruby Franke's story is a sobering lesson. It illustrates how a carefully curated image of a happy online family can hide escalating abuse, and how the pursuit of internet fame and a flawless reputation can push a parent toward disastrous choices. Her downfall sparked critical discussions on the accountability of content creators toward their children and the potential need for laws that protect the most vulnerable participants in online videos. For the millions of followers who once enjoyed 8 Passengers, it was a bitter awakening, a reminder that life off camera can be very different from what appears on screen. Yet it may lead to a positive outcome, stronger safeguards for children in the digital realm, and greater awareness that childhood is not a commodity to be sold, but a time that merits safety, privacy, and unconditional care.